JD Healing Vibes Meditation Series 1 ASMR Styled. Namaste, everyone. It's Jenny again. Welcome to my third video lesson in this series of 4 sessions. I would recommend that you have viewed the first and the second video lesson in this series before moving forward with this third session. For this lesson as well, we're going to be using our mala. This is actually the first practical session that I'm going to be presenting, where you'll be using your own mala. So hopefully you've been out and selected for yourself your own 108 beat mala, and you have it ready with you for using in this session. As I said, this session we're going to be particularly focusing on how to integrate the mala, which is the second tool in conjunction with the first tool that we've learned, the mantra, Om, and we're going to be combining the two and using the Japa, and we'll be exploring some different ways to adapt the Japa to suit your own individual needs. In the first place, we're just going to really get a feel of the rotation of the beads in your hand and just playing around with how to coordinate your breathing with the repetition of the mantra and using the experience of using the mala as well. So the first thing to always be aware of is that you're going to take up a comfortable seated position with your spine straight and your shoulders relaxing back and down. As before, you may sit on a chair if you prefer, or you can sit on the floor in a cross-legged position as I am, or you perhaps may want to sit with your back up against the wall, a cushion supporting your back, and perhaps your legs stretched out. You're going to be using your mala in your dominant hand. So if you're a right-handed person, you're going to be using the mala in your right hand, and the same applies if you're a left-handed person, then you'll be using your mala in your left hand. As I am right-handed, I'm going to be demonstrating the use in the right hand, so left-handed people just adapt it to the left-handed situation. Your other hand, the non-dominant hand, just allow it to relax comfortably either on your leg, your knee, or perhaps even just resting comfortably in your lap. Now, eventually you'll be doing the Japa Mala mantra with your eyes closed. But initially, especially in the early stages when we're first learning the technique and adjusting to the sensation of manipulating the beads in your hand, you may wish to keep your eyes open just to check that you're rotating correctly, and then you can start to close your eyes. You can open them up whenever you feel you need to, if you want to just check that you're doing the procedure correctly. But eventually you'll be able to close your eyes and you'll have no problem being able to manipulate the beads with your eyes closed. So now, if you could just come into a comfortable seated position, making sure that your back is straight and your shoulders relaxing back and down. Your chin should be parallel to the ground. Just doing a little bit of a release of your neck, gently rolling it from side to side, just to give a little stretch out, make sure that the energy is flowing freely up to your head, and then bring your head back into the position where your neck is in line with your spine, chin parallel to the ground. So before we even start the practice with the mala, I just want you to close your eyes briefly and bring your attention inwards to your physical body. Mentally scanning from your toes up to your head and just checking to make sure that you feel comfortable. Make any slight adjustments to your position. Also soften, loosen and release any tension if you notice it anywhere in your body. And just moving up gradually scanning through as you are moving up through your body. If you notice tension somewhere, just respond by softening and loosening the muscles there a little. And then eventually reaching the top of your head, feeling your whole body now comfortable, heavy, and relaxed. Now begin to focus on your breathing and just allow your body to fade away into the background and become aware of the rhythm of your natural breath. And then begin to slow and deepen your breath. Just make sure that you maintain comfort at all times. Never feel discomfort or strain. And if it's comfortable for you, close your mouth so you're inhaling and exhaling slowly and deeply in and out of your nose. Breathing in, breath flowing up, navel to throat. And as you exhale, the breath slowly and gently flowing down, throat to navel. Just keeping your awareness on your breath and just allowing the breath to slow and deepen. And this focus on the breath is starting to also slow the mind down, letting go of your daily activities and letting go of any distracting thoughts. Being aware of the rhythm of the breath, keeping it comfortable, slow, deep, and rhythmical. Now, if you would just open your eyes slowly now, and you can just allow your breathing to continue in a relaxed way in the background. We're going to start our practice with the mala, and I'm going to do a little close-up shot so that you can see my hand a little bit more easily. And as I said, as we're going through the process, eventually try closing your eyes and just experiencing the movement of the beads through the sensation of touch and allowing the distraction of the visual sense to fade away. Now, I want you to just begin by resting the first bead of your mala on your middle finger using your dominant hand, and the sumaru or the guru bead, that's the larger bead with the tassel attached, should be pointing towards your body. So what you'll be doing is rotating the beads one at a time towards you with your thumb. So the thumb will be rotating the beads as you repeat the mantra. The beads will be being drawn one at a time by your thumb towards you. Just have a little bit of a practice at doing that, just rotating without worrying about mantra repetition, just having a little practice of using the thumb to rotate each bead towards you one at a time. Now, as you're doing that, I want you to be aware that I've got my index finger out of the picture, well away from the beads. Please don't touch the mala beads with your index finger. In the yogic tradition, the thumb represents the universal soul, or God, if you will. The index finger represents the individual soul or the ego self. As the goal of meditation practice is to move towards the experience of the universal soul or unity consciousness, it is appropriate to use only the thumb to move the beads towards you. So now, as you're just practicing this movement of the beads, close your eyes and just continue to practice drawing one bead at a time towards you. Keep your body relaxed, keep your breath relaxed and comfortable. Now, in a moment, we will begin by repeating the mantra at a comfortable but relatively fast pace. After a while, we will breathe a little more slowly and deeply and begin repeating the mantra also more slowly. So I would suggest at this point you open your eyes once again, and once we get started with the mantra repetition, follow along with me and have a go every now and then of closing your eyes so that you get the feel of moving the beads in coordination with the repetition of the mantra, and just doing that purely by the sense of touch without using your eyes. But to begin, have your eyes open first of all. Alright, so now we're going to take a deep breath in and follow along with me, and we'll repeat loudly. First of all, then we will repeat in a whispering, and then we will repeat silently. So deep breath in. Om, 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 Om. Now 10 silent repetitions using the same pace. Finish with the repetition that you're on and just have a little rest. You can open your eyes if they were closed. Just have a little rest and focus on your breathing. So we've just been repeating the mantra at a relatively fast pace just to try it out, see how it feels. Now the next part of the practice, we're going to slow it down, and we're going to be doing quite a slow pace, and you'll get the sense and feel of how different it is, and perhaps you may decide that you're preferring a faster pace at this point in time, or you may prefer the slower pace. But we're just getting a feel and a sense for the different ways that the japa can be used. So now if you'd like to once again be aware of the mala resting in your hand. You've got a bead resting on your middle finger. Your thumb is about ready to move that bead towards you. And we're going to be doing the slowed down pace to the slow, deep breathing. And we'll do the same as we did with the fast pace. We'll be doing 10 loudly, 10 whispering, and then 10 silently. So you may also keep your eyes open for the first part of the practice, and then after a while have a go at closing your eyes and experiencing the sensation just through the sense of touch and sound, of course, using the mantra. So beginning with a slow, deep breath in. Now 10 silent repetitions at the same pace. Now just complete with the last repetition, and then you can just relax, open your eyes, just allow your both hands to relax and continue to breathe comfortably at your own pace. Now, I suggest you might like to just have a little bit of a move and stretch, and then we're going to do a little bit more refinement of the use of the meditation beads, and I'm also going to be showing you how to flip the meditation beads in the traditional way. Now, just before we continue with our practice with the mala, I just want to give you a little bit more explanation about the variations of the japa, or the repetition. So we have been experiencing the different variations of going from faster paced to slower paced. And also we've been experiencing the variation of loud repetition, whispering repetition, and then silent repetition. So just to explain how you can adapt these differences to suit you. So when the japa is done more quickly, that is when the mind is more restless and the thoughts are coming more quickly. So you'll be doing the japa, or the repetition, more quickly in this instance. As your meditation practice deepens, your mind will begin to slow and will become less agitated. The space between your thoughts will widen. The gap between your thoughts will become wider and wider. So as this starts to happen, you will be able to slow the repetition of the mantra. Slow, silent japa is the most advanced practice. And this is done when the mind is calm and the thoughts have been slowed right down, and the mind is beginning to be undifferentiated from the object of its focus, which is the mantra. It is in this state that the brain waves have slowed down and entrainment with the sound of Om is being established. An altered or super state of consciousness may be achieved. Now this may take some time and perhaps even many sessions of disciplined practice to achieve this so-called samadhi state. However, the process or the journey towards this state is an important experience in itself. Many positive and healing effects will occur along the way. And meditation sessions are always valid, regardless of achievement of any altered state of consciousness. Over time, experienced meditators will gain more control of their mental processes and be able to harness the healing effects in their day-to-day lives. So we're now going to continue on using the mala, and as I said in this, the final part of this lesson, I'm going to show you the traditional way to rotate or flip the mala once you come to the end of your 108 beads. In your own meditation sessions, you may not always do a whole rotation of 108 beads. It will depend on the time that you have available and also on the pace at which you are repeating your mantra. Some sessions, if your mind is very agitated and you wish to do the japa quickly, you may end up doing several rounds of the 108 beads. If your mind is quite calm and relaxed, you will do the japa more slowly, and you may not even end up completing the 108 beads. Just remember to adapt the japa to suit your own needs, and this may vary from day to day. The general rules are loud and fast japa is for agitated or restless minds. Silent and slow japa is for calm and relaxed minds. And the whispering and perhaps an intermediate pace will be for a mind that's perhaps more in the middle of those two states. And you will be the judge, the best judge, of what state your mind is in and how to adapt the japa to this state. You sometimes may start a meditation session with an agitated mind. But as the session progresses and your mind starts to slow down, you may begin modifying the japa and becoming more silent and slower. Should you wish to meditate in public, you will probably want to use the silent japa. For instance, if you're travelling on a train, or perhaps you may be in a park, and you can adapt the pace to suit your mental state, but your silent repetition may be the more appropriate when you're in a public space. So perhaps say you're on the train and you wish to do some japa mala meditation, you have your little meditation beads with you. You close your eyes. You might start by repeating the mantra at a fast pace, silently, gradually moving to a slower and slower pace. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at how to flip the mala in the instances where you actually complete the 108 beads and want to continue on with your meditation session. Completing the 108 beads is an important technique to learn so that you do not move over the sumaru, because in the tradition, the Japa Mala mantra tradition, the sumaru is a symbol of the divine state, the universal consciousness, God, if you will. And so as a symbol of deference for that universal soul or your pure intention, we do not go over the sumaru. We actually rotate the beads so that we then start to move back the other way. So we're going to have a little close-up now at this point, and I'll be showing you how to do this little technique. So I'd like you just to take up your mala as we did before, and imagine that you are starting with the first bead resting on your middle finger and the sumaru pointing towards you. Now, for the purpose of demonstration, we're going to move the beads all the way along. So just say you are going through all the beads, drawing each bead towards you until you reach the 108th bead, which is the very last bead just before the sumaru. So you have your middle finger and that last bead resting on that middle finger. The sumaru is pointing away from you. So in order to flip or rotate the beads, because we don't want to just move over the sumaru and continue, we want to flip it around and then continue back again, we join the thumb and the middle finger. We flip the beads up so the thumb comes underneath. The first bead is now resting on the thumb, the sumaru pointing towards you, and then you place the middle finger where the thumb was, and then you're ready once again to begin the practice if you wish to continue further than the 108 beads. So let's have another practice at that. So continuing through the beads, just pull them towards you, just pretending that you have completed the practice and you have gone all the way to the very last bead before the sumaru. Sumaru is pointing away from you. The last bead rests on the middle finger. Join the thumb to the middle finger. Flip the beads over, tuck the thumb under, so now that last bead is resting on the thumb, and then pass the middle finger under so that it now rests, the first bead is resting on that middle finger, and you're ready to begin again. So we'll do that one more time just to make sure that you understand the technique, and I would suggest that you have a little bit of practice at that. Eventually it will become very straightforward and automatic, and you will be able to do it with your eyes closed, but initially you should start by practicing with your eyes open, and that will help you to be able to learn the technique. So we're moving the beads through as we repeat the mantra with each bead, progressing through until we get to the 108th bead right at the end, and the sumaru will be pointing away from you. Join the thumb and the middle finger together. Tuck the thumb under, flipping the beads over. First bead now rests on the thumb. We're going to swap over so the middle finger is now under that bead, and you're ready to go again. So you have flipped those beads and you're going to continue on. So I hope that little demonstration has helped you to understand how to flip the beads in the traditional way. So what I'd like to do now is just have a little bit more of a session together with you, practicing the Japa Mala mantra repetition. So we'll do the practice where we are going to be doing slow repetition, but we're going to practice the slow repetition in the 3 different ways. First of all, loudly, then we will move to whispering, and then we will move to silent repetition. So once again, I would ask you to take up a comfortable seated position. Make sure your spine is straight, shoulders relaxing back and down. So if you feel that you're comfortable now doing the rotating of the beads with your eyes closed, then just softly close your eyes. Take your awareness to your body. Relax every part of your body, just doing a little brief body scan. And then move your focus to your breathing and commence slow, deep, comfortable breathing. Just deep breaths in and deep breaths out. And so if you just follow along with me, if you find that I'm doing the practice a little bit too slowly for you, then you adjust it to suit yourself. Taking a slow, deep breath in. Now 10 silent repetitions at the same pace. Now just complete your practice with the next repetition. And you can just release the practice, allow your breathing to return back to its natural breathing rhythm. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes slowly, and this completes the third lesson in our Japa Mala mantra practice. So I hope you've enjoyed this session today, and suggest that over the next week or so, practice with your mala, practice the japa and the mantra, and come back to join me for the fourth lesson shortly, where we will be just refining our practice, learning about how to set an intention and use that with our Japa Mala mantra practice. Namaste, everybody.